Hello and welcome to In the Game, Qatar's first sports podcast. Let me get my screen right. We've got a very special guest, as always, on our show this afternoon, or wherever you are in the world. Mr. Shaji, can you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
It's my great pleasure, Steve, for be part of your show today. I'm Shaji Prabhakaran. I'm from India. I'm part of football industry for last 25 years, and currently I'm the president of Football Association in Delhi, and also I work as a consultant with Asian Football Confederation, FIFA, even International Cricket Council, and there are a few more organizations which I provide my expertise in football and other aspects of sports.
That's just incredible. You have no free time, right? We spoke about this before, and we're going to go into your story afterwards. But I just want to share with people that I've spoken to you before, and we spoke about the podcast. And I said to you, you looked up and said, I've seen my family. There's a positive about this pandemic, this COVID-19. The thing is that you've seen your family so much.
Absolutely, because this pandemic has given me I could cover of many years of me missing my family and family missing me, because I always was working out, traveling for the game, and it was quite a hectic schedule. And my daughters are they are 4-year and 10-year-old, and they always want me home, but I could not fulfill that. But during this pandemic, last more than 120 days, I am at home and having great time with my family. And this is, and also I am getting rebooted in many way and trying to think what we can do fresh for football and how we can energize football ecosystem further.
We're going to find out your story, but this is just more than I want you to get over today. I hope that you get over today. This is far more than just a job that you're doing. This is a vocation, right?
Yeah, it's I'm fortunate, I can tell you, Steve, because I've dreamt something where I really didn't had any clue, what I am, where, how I'll reach there somewhere. It was because I brought up in a place which is very remote part of the country, and there was nothing you could read or nothing you could get inspired from your locality, because my age children, when I was 8, 9, 10 till 17, 18, majority of them even didn't go to school. But the only aspect what was very important there was football, and it was just 200-meter away the football pitch, and that really inspired me, and I devoted since then to football. And this is where and then I started dreaming to be a professional player. But I could not fulfill that dream because I got injured when I was 22, and it was a bad ACL tear, and it took a year even for me to walk properly. And then I tried again to come back, but then realized I cannot dream to play professional football anymore, and then I have to hang up. And then I started thinking I have to be part of football industry and what I can do. And then I started focusing on my academics and trying to build my capacity through professional courses and doing practical work on the pitch, because that is very important, because what we read sometime you need to really have the platform to implement and try. And I am really fortunate I got that opportunity from very beginning. So therefore, I can say I've really worked from the bottom of the pyramid to the top of the pyramid. It's really fortunate.
So you've told us a bit. So when was it? So at what age were you playing? Did you play football? Because in India, I suppose the two sports that you had was hockey. The ones that I realised, because in my day, when it was my day, we always looked at Pakistan and India for the hockey. You were always world champions. Either one of you were. And then obviously cricket, which you always struggle against the English team, I know. But it's like, what was it like with football? Was it there was only a few children playing, or was it something in your town, in your city? What was it like back then?
As I said, since 8 I started playing football, and though cricket at that time was really big, because 83 we won the World Cup cricket, and that is where we kind of our cricketers really won the heart of Indians, and they become the real role models in India. And cricket was really big when I was growing up, and hockey definitely before that was number one sport, because we had fabulous achievements in Olympics, and we were ruling the world since till 80s. But then since the artificial astroturf came into existence, we started moving down, and still we are trying to improve that, and we are top 4 in the world right now in hockey. But football was one of the major sport in my locality where I was brought up, because it was a tea garden area where there are a lot many tribals used to stay, and the tea garden management used to promote football, and it was a seasonal game, not a full year on football activity used to be there, but at least for 6 months we used to have football, and then there was a complete null period for football, and then the winter used to set in, and then all kind of games we used to play, either cricket, volleyball, and all indigenous games as well. And but we were, as I said, was inspired by our locality, and those seniors whom we played, they really encouraged us and given us a platform to continuously grow with the game. But one aspect which you will be surprised to hear, that there was no coach till I was 18. There was no coach for us.
Right. And you've come from that background, and no coach until you were 18. And I'm going to let people know that when you first took this job on, you're the president of the Football Association in Delhi. Um, Tell us how it all began with your office, because when I think about an FA back in the UK, I see this big organization. But tell us how you began with this.
See, Steve, I'm staying in Delhi since 2005, and uh, because this, I started staying in Delhi because I was part of the All India Football Federation, the National FA. I was handling the national team department as well as the head of development work, and since then, uh, I was closely observing the city, and I already wanted to do something for Delhi, because I experienced it. There is a lot of potential, but football is not moving up the way it should be, being a capital city. And since then, I was always behind, running after those people who used to manage football in Delhi, saying that I can assist, I can help you. But then, unfortunately, I could not get involved, and I have no complaint, because it is their responsibility and their own decision whom to engage, whom not to engage. But when then what happened? We three friends bought a club in Delhi uh, in the year 2017, and we started to engage with the local association and realized that it's a completely the structure is non-existent. There is no aspiration in the system. There is no calendar, and we were struggling, because whenever we are going to raise money, funds, we didn't had answer, because we are running a club, but where we will play, when we will play, how many games we will play, and which stadium we will play, we didn't have answer. And I thought, oh, this is really not working, and I have to do something. And then what happened? I said, okay, then the election came. I put my tried my luck, and I contested, and without doing politics, I won the election. And it was a close contest, because the gentleman who stood against me, he was a 69-year-old ex-player, and he managed to get around, I think. 35 votes. I got around 41 or 44 votes, and we won. And then everything was kind of a startup. Everything was kind of, demolishing all practice, and you are trying to build everything from scratch. We never had an office. We didn't had a full time staff. We didn't had money. Everything was, from the beginning we could start. And I can tell you, Steve, it has been a fabulous experience, and there are many people who are contributing, helping for the football to grow in the city. And we now have 9 full-time staff. We have office. We have around more than 10 to 12 partners, sponsors who are supporting us, and we have more than we have organized more than 2,000 matches. And also, the best part is we also have the biggest and the largest grassroots league in India, in Delhi, with 240 teams. And also in our work, we are very inclusive. Whatever we try to do for boys, we try to do the same for the girls. And this is an inclusive approach, and we really want to see, both boys and girls grow together, and they should get equal opportunity. And fortunate enough, I would say that people are trying to support us, though it's very challenging, because football is very popular, is getting popular in India, but the structure is still very primitive. And to change everything, and to manage people mindset is also a biggest challenge, because there are people who are there since more than 40 years, and how you change them. Yeah, you cannot really throw them out, but how you work with them, how you can engage them, how you really motivate them, how you really want them to believe in the vision, because our vision is to be a model football city in India by 2021. But I don't think we will achieve that in 2021 because of this pandemic. We have lost, I don't know how many months we will lose, or a year, due to this pandemic. But we will definitely, course, will put our goals, reset our goals, considering this situation, and we will try to make Delhi a vibrant football city.
I cannot believe that you've done this all from 2017, that you had this burning desire and you've gone in there with yourself to start with. And there's been people that's helping along the way. And you've built this incredible team where all of a sudden in 3 years, you've got so many people coming in and helping you to get to the next level. And it's one of the things that I wrote in my piece to promote the event. Do you think that India can be a dominant force in football?
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. I have no doubt, because I have put my life into football, mm, to make this happen. And this will happen because if we go back to our history of Indian football, 1950s, early 60s, we dominated Asia. And we had a fabulous team, excellent players who were dominating Asia. And considering that, and the considering if you do an analysis, we have a lot many strengths in our country, and definitely we can dominate. First, we have to see how we can become a top 10, top 5 in Asia, and we go to the next level to be top 20 in the world, and that is quite possible. Because football in India is now the fastest growing sports as far as participation is concerned. And there is, the youths are completely buying into football. They are getting hooked to football, though many of them are following European football, but slowly they are also getting linked with local football, which is very encouraging. And lot many initiatives are taking place. Even the government is also supporting, because India is already hosted under 17 FIFA Boys World Cup, and now next year we will host under 17 Women's World Cup. In 2022 we will host Women's Asia Cup, and then we also already bidded for 2027 Asia Cup in India. So therefore, there is a lot of support coming in, but what is required is how we improve the structure, how we put aspiration into our system, and engage more and more people, and professionalize every aspect, improve our governance. So there is a lot of possibilities, but as you are asking, no doubt in my mind that India will definitely become a dominating country in world's football. I really cannot give you a timeline, but definitely it will happen.
Your passion in sport, from an India, from a nation perspective, is incredible. It's like, as you said, there's been sports you've dominated, and it's only a matter of time before you work this football out. That's for sure. I kind of find it. I'm staggered because again, I try not to find too much out about you, and it's staggering for me to listen to you that you started this, not your whole journey in football, but your journey in this area, 2017. Did you ever think to yourself back then, and this is for everybody that's listening, did you ever think that you would achieve what you are today?
No, absolutely not, Steve, because you can dream, but you cannot really put whole script. Yeah. And but what I always believe in putting my best, and working hard with all honesty, integrity, and rest you leave it to the Almighty God. Because if you are, what I've learned in life is, uh, you can't really put a timeline to what you want to achieve in life, but as long as you believe in what you are trying to do, and if you have the ability, and if you are self-critical within you, that okay, you are taking the right step, you are moving in the right direction, and you are engaging the right people, because you might have a dream, but there are dreams you cannot fulfill alone. You have to encourage others, you have to influence others, you have to make a team bigger and bigger. And how you can influence all of them to have a common understanding for the game, not to believe in you what you say. No, it is not important. Important is to give them a belief that this game has a potential and you can play an important role. And that is what the encouragement we need to build in the system. And if we have that system, then more and more people come into supporting that, and that is what is required. So we need to have a very inclusive approach in whatever we try to do, and that is what I am always been trying to do, and always believe, what I know is my own capacities, and where my gaps are, what are my strengths are. I always try to analyze that, evaluate that, and trying to move accordingly. But then, as you said, Steve, I never knew, I'll be in this position. No, I my only goal is how I can contribute for the development of the game, and this just happened. This just happened.
This is such an important message to people out there that 3 years ago you decided that you were going to get in and you wanted to get involved, and then all of a sudden you find yourself a president of the FA in Delhi. It's just an incredible story, and I just want to applaud you because that is just unbelievable, and it's a great message to people out there to say, listen, don't sometimes shout from the outside. If you want to get in there and make a difference, get in there, whatever level it may be, get in there and make a difference. What were your priorities when you took? How important was to get more children involved in the game of sport, and especially from the ladies' perspective, because it's huge back in the UK right now. It's so huge all over the world actually with ladies football. How did you get those things started?
See, it was quite a challenging situation for me personally, because the perception wise, the association didn't command that positivity in the community, among the stakeholders, and how what you do. So therefore, what we tried to do was trying to rebrand everything, because it used to call as Delhi Soccer Association. We branded it as Football Delhi, so that everything comes out as fresh. And if you look into our logo, it clearly demarcates inclusivity. You can see both boys and girls there. And what we did is we try to engage with every stakeholder. I personally met everyone, and to understand them first, rather than saying what I want to do. I wanted to listen to them. I have met everyone, try to listen to them, and then I try to motivate them. Okay, don't be disheartened. Oh, now we have to work as a team, and tell me, how we can do to work together. That's very important, because in a system, we will always find 80 to 90 or 95% good people, more positive people, but there will be 3 to 5% who will be negative, who will pull you back, pull you down, who will have all the negativity around. But it's very important we engage with the right people, and that is what I have tried to do. And it's happened, and people came forward. They give, they really didn't wanted any return. That's encouraging, because I've discussed with people. I said, will you able to do something with us? But I can't really promise you any money, I can't promise you any position, but can you help the game? And you won't believe, there were many people who were willing to help, and they've been part of us, and that's how we could do, different steps. And as far as women's football is concerned, we from the day one engaged with them, because women's, we have to be very very particular, because we need to have the right system, right structure, and right people to manage them. And we were my philosophy was that, okay, how we can engage more women into it, and they go out and promote women's football. That is very important, because Delhi, if we read, or if we Google, we will find that it is not a safe city for women. And
Yeah.
there were many many negative stories around. So therefore it's very difficult for families to send their daughter out to play alone. That's again a challenging situation. Therefore, how we created a system whereby they really have the confidence in us, that okay, this is a safe place, which is very very fundamental. And their kids will be able to grow, they will be protected, they will be promoted, they will be encouraged, and they will be able to learn the game. And that's how we started, and that's how in our grassroots league, that's Golden League, we have a mixed league where both boys and girls play together, from under 7, under 9, under 11 age group. Because if we make a exclusive girls team at that age group, there will be less and less participation. But when we started a mixed age group, this participation number among girls are growing. And we wanted more coaches, more women coaches to be part of it, also more women referees to be part of it, and more women administrators to be part of it. So
Yeah.
on the whole, we are trying to, encourage more women to be part of it, so that they go out and encourage more girls to be part of the game.
I think that's the biggest thing is getting people to start joining. And as you said, you're going out and getting people involved. With we've just gone through a very difficult. No, in fact, I don't want to get onto that one yet. I want to go back, and I want to ask you, the difficulty is moving forward. What are, with all the aspects of the game that you've got to deal with, what are your biggest challenges?
Oh, see, Steve, there are definitely quite a big challenge. One is the infrastructure, because Delhi is the capital city of India, but football infrastructure is still not of the global standard, or what we can say is that we don't have as many pitches also. And even those pitches or stadiums, we really don't manage those, because it is all with either municipality or with state government or central government or other departments or with schools or colleges. So therefore that's the biggest challenge, because we really don't have that kind of infrastructure where we have absolute access for 365 days, 24 into 7. No. Oh, that's where we have the biggest challenge to plan our calendar itself, because we can put a calendar, but we really don't know whether we get a stadium tomorrow or not, or a training grounds or not. But fortunately, we have the minister who is the central minister for sports, Mr. Kiran Rijiju. He has allowed us and given us the biggest stadium in the city for football activities since last 8 months, which is really helped us in a big way. And the next biggest challenge is funding, because nobody, though football is growing very fast, there are good number of participation, but brands and sponsors, they really don't want to be part of the grassroots level football, and they really don't want to remain in local level. Everybody wants big light and show activities, which is like big events which are live broadcasted in television, and there are celebrities involved. So that is what is one of the biggest challenge to raise fund. Therefore, I think I can tell you my strike rate is say 3%. If I meet 1,000 people, uh, I then I get this 10 of them as a partner, or a 13 of them, or a 14 of them as a partner. Out of every 100, three will respond positively, and then one might sign as a partner. So therefore, it's a huge work, and we really cannot engage a professional there, a professional agency, because we will not be able to meet their demands, financial demands. So therefore, I have to undertake that work personally, because this is not a paid work I am doing. It's a completely honorary service I am doing for the game, and I have to spare all that time to meet this many people in my daily work. Average meetings are 4 to 5 in a day. It's not. It's also weekends are more. I can say. So that kind of time I have to spare, but I never felt that I am doing something unproductive. Even those 97% are rejecting me, but I never felt angry or upset. No, because I know that somebody will understand, somebody will buy our story. They will come forward and support, and that is what my motivation, my inspiration, never to get bothered or disheartened by rejection or a failure.
And now I'm going to go on to it. So what's the rewards? Tell us the rewards. Tell us what's happened so far in the yeah. Now look, I see. Look at your face. All of a sudden, come
See,
on, tell us.
the
Come on.
biggest reward, is the satisfaction. When you see more kids playing, when you see more games happening, when we see more more people talking about, oh, this is something new happening, and that's a reward. That's a self satisfaction, and that is
I'm
what.
sorry to jump in there because I do want to. You're the ones that see these kids, okay? How much of an effect is it happening on you bringing kids into football? What's the kind of feelings with these kids? Can you explain it, or is it just such a wonderful feeling that you see and they learn so much, right?
Oh, absolutely. See, when we create platforms, and you have to see and experience those kids' life, because in our part of the world, academics is really the focus for parents and the society, and
Yep.
kids really don't get that many opportunity to express themselves. Yeah, they are all regimented. They all been told what to do, what not to do. But when they are on the page and they get that opportunity, you can really see the joy in them, the happiness in them, because they can express. And we are trying to create that. That's why my major focus and the priority is at the grassroots, because that is where we can really instill a culture, and that if we can succeed engaging more and more children and families into football, and that is in 10 to 15 years or 20 years, we will see a culture of football in the city. And that's why my focus is, okay, how more children can play irrespective of their ability, because some people promote football very selective. That is really absolutely bad. For me, it is criminal, because we should not discriminate children, whether they are good or a bad, whether they have superly talented or no talent. Even they are not means they are handicapped, or in any way, we have to see how football can really give them happiness. And talent and all is secondary, because we should not look a 5-year-old as a talent. We should look as, a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, how they can live a happy life and what they can gain out of football. And if they are talented, definitely anyone can find them, because they will express themselves with the ball. They will do all those things. But how we create that encouraging platform and opportunities for them, that's very important, and that is what we have tried. And this is work in progress, because we have limited resources to put in there, and with all challenges, but we have grown. Because the first year itself, we have done a league with 176 teams, with no sponsor, with no funding. And I said, no, we have to start. If we don't start, if we go to a sponsor and say, oh, we need money to start, that is not good. Let's start. After a year we will go and tell them. And we had 25,000 US dollar as debt to do that activity. Yeah. And I said, I'll manage to convince people. They will not be after us to ask for the fund. Let's spend, let's ask people to support. And we were very, very fortunate. The second year we got a good sponsor to support our activity, and we could have 240 teams. And that is how we have to do things, and we have to take risks, because I am always been a risk taker in my life. Because if we want to achieve something in our life, want to do something, we have to take the risk. And risk is it's what gives you that satisfaction when you achieve something. That is the biggest satisfaction. It is not the money. Absolutely, it is not the money. Money is absolutely secondary.
What would be your message to parents? What would be your message to parents, and what would you say to them that you see in the kids on a when?
I would say to every parent, don't stop your child from playing. Whether they are at home, whether you go with them to park, whether they are at school, wherever they are, if they want to play, you let them play, and you must encourage them to play. If they are sitting at home, playing only using smartphone, uh, is good, but how you can really push them to be outdoor and play? Because if they play, they will express themselves, and that's how you will be able to make them a better and better individual. Because if they don't express themselves, you will never know what they are. And that is what football gives them, the opportunity to express. And they will also learn in life how to manage failure. Because in football you fail every second. When you dribble, if the opposition stops you, you failed. But then again you try, you win sometime. If you win a match, you lose a match, but again you have an opportunity to play another match. So that's an important situation, and people doesn't realize what sports does to life. And that is very important. Because don't try to put your children and child to think, make them to think that, okay, you are only putting them to be a champion, to develop another Messi or another Ronaldo. No, think that they will come out as champions in life, which is very important. And if they have the ability, if they have the talent, they will definitely become Messi or Ronaldo or better than them. But important is never hold them, never stop them from playing. If they can play, they can handle any situation in life, and they will be your biggest support in life. And you will always feel proud that I have done something in that part of life which is really helped my child to grow and become a very successful human being. And that is what the sports does. And football, definitely, that is why it is called beautiful game.
It's a beautiful game. And again, there's things that you've said to me just now, and I'm going to pick up on. It's like the one thing that it's the team. It's like playing together as a team. It's like you're not an individual at this. One of the things that I know with you is that the most important thing to you is your team behind you, and listening to your the rejection side of it. It's just something that you've got to get used to. You don't let it destroy you. You let it what you've got to do is you've got to look at it and say, listen, there's another door to knock. He's going to say yes to me. Somebody is going to say yes to me today, and I'm not going to stop until I get that yes. And when you've got that team, and when all of a sudden people start helping you build that, and especially, I've seen it here in Qatar especially, it's like people say to me about Qatar, they've got it in their hearts and their mind, and they don't see, they're like young children where they've got no fear. There isn't anything they can't do. There's nothing. They've got no fear to not go for it. And that's why they're doing the World Cup. And it's like, as you said, when you've got people around you, you know that you've got something special, then that will grow automatically. But it's kind of down to you. I've got to put a lot of praise on you, Mr. Shaji, because the determination that I'm seeing and the smiles when you talk about stuff and you see those things like now, it's just incredible. And I hope so many people are getting the message from you today that you can achieve anything you want.
Thank you. Absolutely. That is what we need to do, everything with a smile and positivity, because you will always face hurdles in life, and that is part of life. And how you overcome that with determination and having a belief in what you want to do, and it's a teamwork. And it's a teamwork, and you might be in a lead position sometime, but then you are also led by somebody who is not in that position. You get inspired, you get motivated, and that's why football is a team game, and we really put that into practice as well. Whether it is on the management aspect, whether it is on our daily life, in any aspect of life, which is really a great tool. And I'm fortunate that I have devoted my life to the game, and whatever I am today, because of the game, and I'm trying to give back to the game as well, as much as possible. And that's how I've also written a book called Back to the Roots, which is it's used by many across Asia and the world, because it really speaks about how we should develop football and what are those basics, which is again an experience I wrote. It is not something I wrote as a theory. No, it was all my practical experiences I have put in, and I'm fortunate that I get compliments on a daily basis from one or the other reading that book. Though it's not a bestseller, it can't be a bestseller, but it's helping.
I want one of those. I definitely want one of those books, and I want a nice signature in there.
Steve, sure, you will get it on our first meeting, whenever it will be. I'm sure it will happen soon.
It will 100%. It's going to happen. I'm going to just and again, I told you it's going to go very quickly today, right? I said if we're going to find out very quick whether it's going to be. You said, how long is it going to take? And I said, well, between about half an hour to 45 minutes. It depends on how good the conversation goes. It's gone so quickly. We talked, and I don't want to give the COVID. I know that people are struggling out there with the COVID, and I understand that. And it's very important that we think about those people that on the front line, and they've done a magnificent job. But what I want to talk about is that we've taken. There's some of us that's taken advantage of this period to plan for our next stages. And it's important that we do that, because we need people that's going to kind of push it when it opens back up again, and we need to get back into gear very quickly. What have you done to kind of, I bet you can't wait for it all to finish, but what are you doing to put kind of things in place for when we can all go out and play football again?
Steve, this pandemic has given me personally a great opportunity to really look back, and also trying to evaluate what can be done in the future, which is what we also had a few meetings with our committee also, and where we discussed whenever we are resuming, we should look better, we should look better, and there should be an improvement compared to what it was before. and this is a great opportunity because otherwise we are always busy firefighting. A normal sports organization, they always 24 into 7, one or the other activities keep happening, and you don't have really time sometime to reflect back and think what is going right, what you can further improve. So this period specifically, I've gained a lot because I've interacted with Steve more than I think 40 different individuals. As this podcast I am attending, I have hosted 37 live discussion, and try and those people I have learned a lot because they are doing incredible work in their own way and adding value to football. And I have tried to present them to the world, to everyone. At the same time, I've learned from them what they're doing, and it was a great conversation. And that's how I spend my time. And also, I've interacted across globally with many people. What can be done to football in India? Because there is a lot of interest globally on Indian football, and many of them sometimes think only, okay, we have a the fastest growing economy, we have a bigger second biggest population, but some of them really don't understand many of the challenges and many of the opportunities as well. So I have really presented to many what India can really do, to global football as well. And so therefore, this been a very positive situation for us. And yesterday only we took a decision also, to extend our support to players, clubs, academies, coaches, that we won't be charging any fees from them till 31st March 2021, because pandemic has really hit many of the families financially. And we really want to give a message that we stand in solidarity with you, and this is our gesture to support you, and we don't want to put any financial burden on anyone. And if we can do something else, if our resources permits, then we will also do more to our stakeholder.
Mr. Saji, let me just ask you one question. What if can you think of yourself doing anything else about what instead of what you're doing now?
Absolutely not, Steve. I'll always be part of football. It might be, some positions change or no position or no designation or no hierarchy, but I'll always be doing football, and that is what would be till my last breath. And because it gives me energy, it gives me high, and that keeps me, going. And this is what the life is for me. And I don't think I can survive a day without being part of football. That as blunt as I am. And this is and Steve, as I said, I'm fortunate that I got opportunity to work from a very grassroots level, even with FIFA full time, and now Asian Football Confederation, everyone globally. I thought that I can reach this far. So therefore, I see that I'll be doing much better going forward. I'll have bigger opportunities for me to do something more and more, and I'll be able to engage more and more people. And I really, my dream is to see Indian football rise, the Indian team to be top 10 in Asia by 2030, or before. And we should play a World Cup in the 30s. In the 30s we should play World Cup. That's my the medium term goal, which is definitely I'll do my best to make that happen. And that is, if that happens, I can tell you, we'll have 365 days of celebration in my life, in my house, in with my friends. And because it will be one of the fulfilling days, because that is what you have dreamt of. and that is what we have to really continuously work towards that.
I'm extremely privileged to have met you. That's for one thing. And even though that we haven't actually met, we've done it virtually. I want to be able to call you my friend. Our journey's just beginning. Without a shadow of a doubt, our journey's just beginning, because you're one incredible person, and your team are just amazing. I'm so glad that you've come on the show today. I want to come back. I want to get you back on the show in a month's time, and maybe we can bring one of your players on, lady player and a guy, to come on the show with you and discuss how important the football is in India, and give us their experiences, because that would just be amazing. But you've been an amazing, inspirational guest. You will go down in history, I'm sure, with what you're doing with football in India. And I congratulate you with everything I've got. You're doing an amazing job. And I'm just so thankful that we've been able to share that with you on the podcast today.
Thank you, Steve. It's been a great honor for me to be part of your show, and your kind words, and it's really motivated me. I say I've been encouraged being part of your show, and definitely your gesture and confidence, what you have reflected today, I'll definitely prove that because it's absolutely important, and I'm sure we will continue to engage in the discussion, and it's been a privilege for me to meet you, and hopefully we will meet in person soon, and
Yep.
And great work you are doing, promoting individuals, promoting great work projects through your initiative, and you likewise equally deserve the appreciation of the sporting world, because what you are doing is again inspiring work, because so many gets inspired because of your work, and that's very important, and keep doing with the passion, with what you are doing, and it's I'm inspired with your work, and
Perfect.
I'm
Thank you
sure.
so much indeed. That means so much, I'll tell you. Honestly, really, it means so much. And I promise you, I'm bringing street soccer to India. And we're going to take it into, we don't care where we're going to play, as long as we can give it a quick sweep. We'll play in car parks, we'll play anywhere. Okay. And we'll get children, kids, adults, we'll get everybody playing with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. We will welcome you, like a king,
Yeah.
for that initiative, because it will
Perfect.
definitely add a lot of smiles to those children, those who are
Yeah.
unprivileged as well, because we have to really get them to the part of the game, so that they start believing in themselves, that they can do something great in their life, and
Yep.
that is what through that initiative we can definitely think of
Yeah,
doing.
100%. Give them hope, give them belief, because
Yes,
that's what football is all about. It's like giving them something that they can achieve. And as you said, the biggest thing is let them express themselves. Let them go out there and find themselves. Let them express themselves. It's a magical moment. And that's a great way of ending the show. Thank you so much, Mr. Saji. Thank you for coming on the show with us today. Everybody, I hope you've got so many different lessons today, because there were so many things that just as an example, what Mr. Saji's done in the way that in 3 years, what he's achieved, and the way that he's going out to help a nation. So, Mr. Saji, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honor to have you on. Thank you so much. And everybody, thanks for listening.
Thank you, Steve. It was a great pleasure for me. Thank you.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much indeed.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.